Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wavy Baller Hub. We are back with another video today. Coming off the back of our Premier League weekend review yesterday, a really fun time. Today, we are previewing Manchester United versus Chelsea, which is coming up this Thursday. Really going to be an interesting game, in my opinion. I don't know if some of you guys saw the Champions League game that happened today, but oh my goodness, I want to get the thoughts of the panel too today. But we have a nice panel, really nice panel. Three really knowledgeable Manchester United / Chelsea fans who are joining the panel today. I got my guy NK with me. I got my guy Andy with me. I got my guy Peter with me. What is going on, people?
How you doing?
What's up,
bro? Doing good. Peter, just in time as always, man. Just in time.
Apologies, people. Apologies.
No, you're good, man. You're good. You perfect timing. Perfect timing, honestly. What a cast I have here, man. I know you guys don't know each other very well, but this is gonna be a good one. Trust me. All American based channel. I think this is the first time I've had three or all four of us are based in the US doing a channel together. So this is gonna be a good one. Okay. So buckle up. What's going on, Gilly Bear? Good to see you. Manchester United versus Chelsea. An interesting one. Obviously, Manchester United, our top four hopes pretty much gone. Chelsea, kind of in a middle ground where Champions League is probably locked in, but in terms of the trophy situations, not looking. I don't think you guys are competing for any trophies. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not.
Cup final.
Which cup final? FA Cup final?
Yeah,
okay. I think I forgot about that. Okay, I was gonna throw some shade, but now I can't. Now I can't do that. All right, whatever. But that being said, it's still gonna. In my opinion, I think it should be an interesting game. Chelsea have been. I think they've won 4 out of the last 5. Manchester United are kind of reeling as it currently stands. And let's just get right into it. I'll start with my guy NK. One off the back of another embarrassing defeat. Let's just be real. Do you think we can, let's just say what it is, compete in this game on Thursday? How are you feeling leading up to this?
You know what? I don't feel confident about it. The only way I feel like maybe we can get something out of the game is that it's kind of like a dead rubber. Chelsea, I feel like they have kind of like secured their 3rd place anyway. I don't think Arsenal, Tottenham are catching up to them. And you saw against when they play against Arsenal too, I think they are more like now looking forward to the FA Cup. So when they play, they don't really kind of like play how they would normally play if they were kind of like fighting for something. So I just feel like it's just going to be a game that's going to be like very open, very attacking, and there's probably going to be a lot of goals too. So it's just going to be about who take their chances at the end of the day. That's what I see it.
Yeah, and I'll follow up on that. Me and Andy were talking about this yesterday on the Premier League weekend review, and I'll pass off to you. I know Chelsea have had moments in this season where it's kind of been difficult to score, I'll say. And it hasn't been as easy as maybe you would think with the lineup they have on paper. Andy, are you from what you've seen from United this season, do you think it'll be more of that, or are you predicting, like NK said, a lot of goals?
I think it's going to be a lot of goals, and I think it's one of 2 reasons. Like, the reason I think we struggled a bit against West Ham last game was because they were just trying. They were just trying to salvage anything from that game, and they're not as talented as United. Even though I'm not necessarily saying United's backline scares me at all, but I think if United has any chance of getting something from this league, from this season, they're going to have to try to get something out of this game. And if they do that, I'm very confident we'll be able to abuse that back line. Granted, I know I'm going to be placing some money on the over in the game, but I do think that against struggling defenses, and if we get one game, we're pretty much solidified. One win, we're solidified top 4. So I think it'll be goals, but we'll maybe 3-1 fine.
Right. Peter, we've talked about this in the past in terms of Manchester United and what people think we are versus what we actually are, right? And I think over the past month, it's kind of rubber stamped what we've talked about in the past. I kind of want the season to end. I'll be real. Like I'm kind of counting down the days like for this season to end. It's been miserable. I cannot lie. But obviously, like you mentioned, you guys are playing for an FA Cup final. how does the regular season, how does the league feel right now? Like it it's one, obviously you've qualified for top 4, but then you've had the major Abramovich news. Like, how is this season at the end of the day? What would you view this season as? It's been kind of a weird
I'm
one for
going to
you
be
guys.
honest. This season was fun until Betancourt took Chilwell's ACL from us. And then ever since then, things got slightly less fun. Like, we had a really bad winter. It was horrible, right? And then we started getting our feet under ourselves. We're champions of the world, and then boom, geopolitics happens. So, like, pretty much ever since the middle of February, there's just been this cloud of like uncertainty,
Yeah.
followed like with just inconsistent performances from our team. Like, when I zoom out, I can't really blame the players if they
Right.
are distracted, because like it is distracting.
Mm.
But for whatever reason, our next ownership has turned into a reality TV series, and we're going into month 3 of this shit, and I'm
Yeah.
so tired of it. Like, But
Right.
when I look at the league fixtures, to be honest, we had that 2-2 January 2nd, I think it was, against Liverpool, and it was great. But I was like, well, now we're 9 points off top. Like, we're not going to win the league.
Mm.
I'm kind of just in purgatory until the next season begins.
Yeah.
So for me, I rid off the league games from then. I was watching the Champions League game today. That should have been us, but it wasn't, for reasons we don't have to get into. But
Yeah.
like, whatever. Like, I was watching the game, like, that should have at least been us. Would we have scored 3 goals? Fuck no. But like, I would have been watching us in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
Instead, I have a trip to Old Trafford to look forward to. Place we haven't won at in 10 seasons, by the way. So like, we have a disgusting drought at Old Trafford going. And I mean, if we don't win this time, I can't think of a better time for us to break that drought. That being said, I don't know what we're going to see from our team. I don't know what we're going to get. They might take this serious and play like it actually means something, or they might approach it like they approached the Brentford game or the Arsenal game. Like, you just don't know what kind of Chelsea you're going to get.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. Let's get into the comments real quick. Big up Temi and the panel. United are losing again. I think this will be worse than the Moyes season. Glazers out. I definitely think this is worse than the Moyes season, considering the fanfare that came in. Varane, Ronaldo, Sancho, and then probably 6th place is not the best look in the world. At the beginning of the season, Chelsea were touted to run away with the Premier League. I don't know if run away was
By who?
Who did that?
especially
What?
Sky pundits after what
Yeah,
happened.
they were one of the favorites.
last
They
season
were one
winning
of the
Champions League.
especially after Lukaku.
How disappointed are Chelsea
enough.
fans with their season? I think that is that.
Look.
And to be fair, before you unleash Peter and Andy, I will say I thought you guys would be in the mix, like in terms of competing for the title. Like, I really thought you guys would be
All right.
not necessarily
Right.
winning it, but just being, maybe right with those guys, week 35, week 36.
Okay, cool. So the last 4 seasons, right? The last 4 seasons in the English football, we've amassed 70 points, 72 points, 66 points, and 67. That breaks down to 68.5, right? The previous 4 league winners won it on 100, 98, 99, and took a dip last year, 86. Right? So at 68.5, the average league winning total breaks out to about 94. I think if you add those 3 values up, 93, 94, something. My math might be slightly off. People don't kill me, but like, I'm making a point here. We are on average like 20-something points off the title over the previous 4 seasons.
You bought Lukaku, and he was supposed to be the guy to kind of like
I
break.
agree
Last
with
season,
that.
the goals were the problem for Chelsea, and then he came to score the goals, and then it's kind of like going worse.
I get that, but like, our season did not fall off because Lukaku was not in form. That's not like why the team fell apart in December. It was like Lukaku was injured when we fell apart anyways, but it's not like we fell apart because he wasn't there. We lost our wing back to an ACL and then had to play Marcus Alonso, and then Reece James pulled a hamstring or a quad muscle, and then he was out for basically 3 months. Right? So the biggest issue for me with like comments like this, if you guys want to listen to Sky pundits, the same people who will sit there and wax lyrically and bang their desk about how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was actually not a terrible manager, then like, cool. That's all well and good. But like when you really strip it down, our league form has not been good since we won the Prem last. It
Okay,
really
to that point, I want to ask Andy a question. So I get Peter, I understand the logic behind the whole, the point how you guys have performed versus the winners of the Premier League over the past few years. That being said, and I don't want to make this a Chelsea, a Chelsea like interrogation or whatever, but I'm gonna do it for a couple minutes. I'm gonna do it for a couple minutes because I can, right? That being said, after winning the Champions League in that way, and then going like NK mentioned, going and getting the star striker who would bag like 30 goals over the past, the season before, I think the season before that, if I'm not mistaken, right? There was an element of, okay, well, they have the center backs, they have, world-class midfielders, quote unquote, right? Then they have this man up front who's changing stuff. Obviously he got injured, and then there's a couple major injuries to your wing backs, but I think, like NK was mentioning, I think the goal situation, right, was really what it is. And that's kind of been what it has been for the past, 4 or 5 years, where you guys haven't been able to get that consistent 20, 25 goal a game, striker. So Andy, are you disappointed in this season? I guess that a long way of asking.
Yeah, so a couple things to unpack there. If you were to tell me at the beginning of the season that we'd finish third, I would believe you. But the gap between second and third is what makes me think that this is a disappointing season. Now, one thing to think about for the Champions League, our draw throughout the Champions League was phenomenal. Like, really, all it came down to was us being able to beat Madrid, and that was a Madrid team that's nowhere near where they're at today, and then squeak one out against City. And all of our Champions League for the past 3 rounds boiled down to a worldly of a ball from Mason Mount and a class finish from Havertz. That's realistically all of the last 3 rounds of what the Champions League boiled down to. So, of course, I talk shit about being the champions of Europe all the time, but that's really wasn't what it was. It's not like we were going out and putting in dominant performances match in and match out. We just had a really good draw, and we played Madrid on their practice field or something. So yeah. I'm still wearing that crown as long as I possibly can. And I did think that Lukaku was going to help us, but for whatever it is, man, when people come to Stamford Bridge and put on a number 9 t-shirt or kit, they just forget how to freaking find the back of the net. It's happened. So Lukaku, Werner's still unproven, but Morata, I would do bad things for Diego Costa back in his prime. That's really what it comes down to. So
that's a good little man. That guy was a mean dude. I'll just say that. LOL, Peter misses Choa, but what about 100 million Lukaku flopping massively? Grealish and Lukaku flops. I don't think Grealish is a flop. I think that's a harsh thing. I don't even know if Lukaku is a flop yet. It's inching there. Chelsea should have competed at least for the title. That's what I heard with the Lukaku edition. Chelsea fans said they would win the league. Stop it. Yeah, football.
Let me just add something to that, Timmy, because here's the thing. We brought in Lukaku, don't get me wrong. But even with Lukaku, if you look at the talent on Chelsea, Liverpool, and City, even with Lukaku, before the season started, there's no denying we're the third most talented team. Because Liverpool and City are so talented, and they have 2 of the best managers, probably 1 and 2, you choose how to slice them up, in the world. And I love Tuchel too, but even with Lukaku, City and Liverpool are another level.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, are we upset that Chelsea are third, or are we upset at what it's looked like over the last 4 months?
I don't know. I think that it's interesting. I feel like, okay, so what happens to Lukaku? We can talk about this later. I want us to we'll answer some of these questions. Really good stuff in the comments here. But let's go into the tactical side of things. I'll start with NK and talk Manchester United a little bit. Obviously, we could honestly drop the whole squad from last game, right? If we were being real, the only person who showed up was Ronaldo. Everybody else, in my opinion, was pretty miserable. Maybe you could say Jadon Sancho gets a pass too, but what do you think Ralph is going to do tactically? Do you think he's going to bring Harry Maguire back into the squad? Do you think, the likes of Telles will get a look in again? Or excuse me, will Telles be dropped again? I should say. What are you expecting? How many major tweaks are you expecting from that lineup?
You know, with me, for the past couple of weeks, I've been very vocal towards Ralph in terms of like how he has set us up
I agree.
during what do you call it, some of the games. I feel like he has made us so easy to beat. You know, we go there and we leave so much space for other teams to kind of like exploit us and everything. And I haven't really kind of like enjoyed that. You know, we go and we try to do this high pressing game, but then we don't do it to the fullest, and then we just leave it open.
Right.
In terms of like the lineup, it it don't matter who you play at this United team. You know, whoever you play, whoever you rotate, it's still the same problem over and over again. We complain about Harry Maguire all we want. He was in against played against Arsenal too, and the whole defense too was so open. You know, we could have considered 4-5 on the day. So it's just about you. When we faced Chelsea, what do you call it, at the beginning of the season when we had Carrick, we set up very defensively and hit them on the counter. You know, and I feel like that was a strategy where he should have kind of like gone into the big games, but he hasn't been able to kind of like deploy that kind of like going forward. Tomorrow, the lineup, I don't know, maybe Maguire might come into it. Who knows? At this point, I feel like as a fan's point of view, we don't really care who plays and who don't play no more. We just want to see some of the youth players come in and get some minutes too. But then again, to your question, is it a good time to kind of like bring them like into the equation? So it's just one of those games that we just want the season to finish. We just kind of like counting it down, you know. Ralph came in as an interior manager. We were hoping he done. You know, when Tuchel went to Chelsea, he understood that they couldn't play the football that he wanted to play. The way Chelsea are playing now is totally different from how he used to play when he was at PSG. But he came, he adapted and found something to kind of like suit them. Ralph, as a coach, hasn't been able to do that. As a consultant, he's doing his job now as a consultant, though, but it's just what it is. But I don't really mind who kind of plays. I just want the season to be over. That's what I'm looking for. Just the countdown to the end of the season.
Andy, so now you see that it's not just me, right? Every United fan feels the exact same way. And the thing about, and you're right about Ralph, and we'll get to the Chelsea part of it later. That game that Michael Carrick managed, the first fixture where it was 1-1, right? Playing those three midfielders, Matic, McTominay, Fred, right? I'm shocked that hasn't been deployed more, you know, in Ralph's tenure. I feel like Ralph refused to really, like you mentioned, adapt. Like he's playing, you know, we've seen him play 5 forward, you know, 5-6 forwards in one game, you know, things that are just ridiculous. You know, it sometimes it kind of feels amateurish. I'm not going to lie. Over the past few, you know, even the Norwich game where we won, we could have easily drawn or lost that game, which is crazy to think about. Let me get into the comments real quick. MU have had a shit season, but personally, I think Chelsea have had a worse season. Interesting, considering how much the media raved about Tuchel and spending 250 M's last season and then signing Lukaku. I don't think they've had a worse season than us. I don't agree.
You guys might be in Conference League. What are we talking about?
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm not. Hey, I'm just reading the comments out, man. I'm just reading the comments out.
We have not done well.
We try to
Peter, relax.
Feel good about
no, I'm look at the table, guys. Look at the table. You're only 2 points above 7.
Relax.
Like I'm not even bullshit. I have the table open right now. You're 2 points.
I have the table open, Peter. Thank you.
But just it's only 2 points. It's not that much.
I can't stand this guy, man.
I'm just putting it out there, man.
Putting
it out there.
Oh, shout out to my guy Hammer, contributed all for United. Hope everyone's doing well, watching while working. Appreciate you, bro. Ralph is gonna say, go out there and do what you want. Those bums have lost top 4 now. Honestly, I would play a couple youth players. You know, I didn't like when Ralph brought on Hannibal during the Liverpool game. I found that was poor, in my opinion. That was probably one of my least favorite things he's done as a manager, like putting out like an 18-year-old kid when we're down 4-0, and he's like, I like the fact that he was kicking the shit out of Henderson, though. That made me really happy. But other than that, I'm just like, what is this? Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. If Kurt Zuma didn't kick the cat, I'd straight swap Harry Maguire for him. That's how shit Maguire is.
Jesus.
I'd do it. I would 100% do it too. No shame. I don't care. I would swap Kurt Zuma for Harry Maguire like that. Seriously. I really just want to see the youth now. Top 4 is over. Pressure finally off, but I think these prima donna contracts are too strong to keep them playing. Yeah, it's man. I don't even know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. It's a bad situation. We gave Bruno Fernandes added 3 years to his contract. I think I can't even wrap my head around it.
Timmy, I got a question for you and NK. Who would you guys
yeah.
like to see? Because you guys have both said it, and a lot of the comments have as well. Who would be like your top 2 or 3 youth guys that you'd like to see in a game like this?
Yes, that's a good question. I'll go first, and I'll let NK answer too. So, one, Hannibal Mejbri, really good young player, kind of a number 10, but they're playing him out wide right now, just trying to get his feet wet, all that good stuff. Really good player. For me, everyone we have the likes of Elanga, obviously, who's been getting consistent game time. We Shola Shoretire is in that mix, but I don't think the rest of those kids are ready. I don't know how MK feels. I don't think the kids that a lot of people want to see, like Mengi, and I remember Mengi played for a half, and I was like, whoa, he's not he's not close to being. I mean, I don't know what you think, MK, but the only person I'd really, really like to see right now is probably Hannibal. I think he's the only one who'd be capable of, playing at that level consistently. I don't know what you think, AK.
No, well, you know what? Yeah, I like Hannibal too. I feel like it's time for him to kind of like break into the team too. But the second person that I would like to get chances, what do you call it? Fernandes. He plays as a left back. We are really struggling for that left back kind of a position. And I just would like to kind of like see him to just see if there is some kind of like potential there or not. Because in the summer, we're going to go look for players and everything like that. I just want to see if these guys, can they actually make it to the first team, or is it just one of those ones where we just kind of like wasting our time hoping they might make it? So that left back position is just something that we are hoping for. I just want to know whether can he be even a deputy next season to like Luke Shaw, because Telles, that guy needs to go. He needs to go.
He's terrible. He's so bad. No, but so Andy, a couple of the kids that I would like to see play, i.e. Ethan Laird, he's on loan. Oh man,
Garnacho too, very good too.
Garnacho's really good. The other kid, he's from Nottingham. He's Ethan Garner. Another kid who's on loan. Who if I'm a betting man, I bet he gets into the squad next season. Just as a rotational player. But we'll see. Let's get into the comments real quick. I'd like to see Zidane Iqbal have a run. Yeah, another good, talented young player. I feel like we're putting a lot on these young kids, to try and come in and break into the side, especially when if your captains and your leaders can't perform, I don't want you in that polluted area.
It doesn't seem like a safe environment.
It's really sad to say that, but it's not a safe environment for these young kids to come into.
Not right now. Like at least wait until you have
look what happened to Hannibal. Hannibal comes in there. he just starts kicking people, and then Robertson starts giving him the elbows. Granted, he did, and he fought back and all that good stuff, but it's just like bait. Like they're like.
But he got that temper problem anyway. He always do that even in the youth game too. So that's how he is.
So it's like, do you want a kid like that who needs guidance to come in and just get a red card, and then imagine the Elanga situation. Remember when Elanga missed the penalty in the FA Cup?
Yeah.
People, most United fans have already dubbed him a failure. I've had arguments on Twitter with people saying he is a failure. I'm like, he's 19 years old and he got called up to the Sweden squad. How is he a failure? But that's what happens when you're losing and you're not playing well and people are looking for people to blame. It's not good. It's not good. But let's move on to Chelsea really quickly, guys. What are you guys expecting in terms of any tactical changes? I think I don't think you guys have any. Do you have another weekend game? I can't.
Yes.
Okay, so you have. So you're expecting rotation? I would assume.
We play Everton on the Sunday. Like it's a pretty short turnaround, anyways. Although like Everton should be like 3 points. Let's be real. It should be pretty free. But you never know with teams down there at that end of the table. For me, Rudiger's back in training, so that's good because I never want to see Azpilicueta and Alonso on the same side of the pitch again in my life. That was so bad. Sunday was an absolute eyesore. So Rudiger will be back. I don't really want to play Thiago Silva either this game or the next game. I don't think you should play both because we're so close to a cup final. Any like muscle injuries make you like a major doubt for that. So I don't really want to risk that. Chalobah played all right. last game. Yeah, we don't really have many options. Like when you really think about it in terms of like the wingback positions and like the defensive ones.
Yeah.
For me, it's whoever's the most fit and whoever feels good. Like should be
Go out there.
Rudiger has to play. Thiago Silva or Christensen have to play in the middle. I want Chalobah on the right. If you want to throw in Kepa for a game, I don't care. At this point, it doesn't bother me. I mean, Andy probably feels differently. He probably feels more strongly. But like for me, trying to win these league games and losing a player to injury for that cup final, I just don't think it's worth it.
You know, Peter, I would challenge you on that, but I don't think I'm going to, man. Like, I don't think Mendy hasn't done much to make me think, like, even in like every single game he needs to play. And honestly, he's like, the ball at his feet has never been a skill of his, but now it's genuinely becoming a liability for us.
Yep.
And that's like the only thing that Kepa can do well. So if we want to throw him in, by all means, I'm kind of with it. I think Loftus-Cheek will see time. He's been playing a lot and he's been playing well. I'm totally with you on Chalobah. But other than that, I mean, biasly, I would love to see Pulisic in the starting 11. But
I think we have to start Pulisic as well. I think it'd be crazy to have him save the day and just sit on the bench again.
I agree. It's nuts.
I think that would be crazy.
I've seen some Twitter rumblings from the British Chelsea contingent on Pulisic, and it doesn't seem like they're big fans.
It's all masked in xenophobia. You know what it is. Don't get me wrong. Pulisic pisses me off sometimes, but the other attacking players in our team also piss me off. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he does anything especially bad. Yes, he missed that chance in Madrid in stoppage time. We could have won it. Like, that made me sad. Don't get me wrong. But, like, I'm not going to sit here and act like Pulisic is the only attacking player that's missed egregious chances this year. It's just not true.
Couldn't agree more.
Fair enough. Let's get into these comments. Let's see. I really just want to see the youth now. Top 4 is over. Pressure finally off. Oh, I think we already read this comment. Tell me, I want to see one of these youth strikers. We've not seen one, even when United had to force Pogba and Bruno up top. I think the leading candidate for that now is the McNeil kid. If I'm not mistaken, he's probably the pick of the litter in the academy. But again,
he's not ready.
He's not ready.
Ronaldo's playing. What are we doing?
No, of course. I think more so. I think people want to see these guys on the bench, right?
I hear that. Ronaldo wants to see 20 Premier League goals at age 37, though, guys.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I think Ronaldo wants to get that.
Ronaldo's trying to leave with something. I understand.
No, 100%. And he honestly, it's sad that we're relying on a 37-year-old so heavily this late into the season. Like, I mean, he dragged us to a win at Norwich. I'm going to repeat that. He dragged us to a win at Norwich. Like, it's really bad. Question from Ugly Bear. Were United a little rash giving Bruno Fernandes a new deal? Should they have waited? And does this prove the same old poor decisions are being made by the board? I'll let NK go first on this one. How do you feel about that?
I think that deal was one that was already in the pipeline already, because when he came there, he was on a very low money compared to the others to win. He was like our best player up until like this season, where he's having like a poor season too. So it wasn't fair on him for him to be receiving less salary, and then the others that were getting more money are not performing too. So I feel like the money side, he was rewarded. But with a new manager coming in, I feel like they probably could have just hold on a little bit until the manager was in. But then again, too, who knows whether the manager has something to do with it or not.
Yeah, for me, I'm sorry, it's bad business once again. You're right that in comparison to Juan Mata, Nemanja Matic, Luke Shaw, Martial, like he's probably outperformed those players. No, he's definitely outperformed those players in terms of statistics. But again, it's just too early, and it didn't need to happen. It didn't need to happen. What hypothetically, let's just say we didn't give him the contract. What's he gonna say? Oh, I'm gonna leave. I mean, who was gonna go? Honestly, what? Okay, I'm gonna ask you. What does Chelsea want him? No.
I think Bruno is a guy that will get a lot of clubs, especially like in Italy and Spain. I feel a lot of clubs would take a chance on him, to be honest with you. But he had 3 years to go. So even if you want to go, United as a club are still in control of selling him.
3 years. 3 years is just like why do it then? It's just another thing of like, let Eric Ten Hag, give Eric Ten Hag a year with him and let's see how it goes, right? Like I mentioned, he scores a lot of goals, he makes a lot of assists, but a lot of that is rooted in the fact that, it's a lot of it takes too much bad decision making to get to those numbers, right? It's the I don't know if you watch basketball. It's the Russell Westbrook. It's the Russell Westbrook effect. It's the Russell Westbrook effect.
It's cool.
He's electric on his day, right? He's electric. He can give you the glory moments, but if you are trying to win a league title, he's not your talisman. I'm sorry, I just can't. And the fact that we gave him 3 extra years on top of the 3 he already had. Am I saying that right? Or was it? Yeah, I think that's the case, right? It's unnecessary in my opinion. Real quick, I want to go into predictions for this game, guys. Appreciate the comments, guys. Really, really. Damn, don't tell me Bruno is Westbrook, bro. He is. It really is sad. I hate to say it, but I think it's frustrating for me because there's players who don't do as much in terms of the numbers, and people don't appreciate those type of players. Like, I had a discussion with someone, like, I've seen a lot of United fans like hate on Phil Foden, right? Like, this is example, right? Like, oh, Phil Foden's overrated. I'm like, you recognize he would walk into our side with ease. Like, you understand that, right? People say, oh, well, he's playing with a whole bunch of other good players. I'm like, he's also benching a lot of really good players too, right? Like, Pep picks him week in, week out. Mara sits on that bench. Grealish sits on that bench. Sometimes Jesus sits on that bench. Phil Foden starts ahead of all those guys consistently. Raheem Sterling has now has been in and out of the lineup, so it's just deadbeat. Russell Westbrook, it is what it is. No top club will sign Bruno, in my opinion, if sent on the transfer list by Man United. NK, what do you real quick? And then we'll go to predictions. But NK, do you really think a Madrid, a Chelsea, a City would take a chance on Bruno?
You know what? Any player that score goals and assists like that, a lot of clubs would just love to kind of like have him there. It's just a question about if you have a system to accommodate him on a good team where they have like good kind of like defensive midfielders. When he kind of like missing the balls and misplacing them, there will be other people to kind of like literally like deal with that. United don't have that, so it's a big liability too. But I don't see why not. A team like Chelsea will not take him, especially when they got like defensive coverage to kind of like help deal with those issues, because goals and assists is a very big, important thing in football,
Yeah. Fair enough. I can't lie. This has a 1-1 stinkiest or a 0-0. I don't know. I think there's going to be goals in this game. I'll go to Andy. What is your prediction for this game?
So I called out 3-1 earlier on this, and the problem is every time I try to predict something, I just say what I want to happen, but in reality, it just doesn't even come close. But I do think there's going to be goals. But I would say I'm going to give it a 2-1. I'm going to dial it back just a bit, but I'm going to give it 2-1. I think we squeak away just because I do think we are the better team, even though we haven't been in form, but neither of you guys. So I think it'll be 2-1. I don't think it's going to be a enjoyable game to watch, though.
Fair enough. NK, what are your thoughts?
I think both teams are definitely going to score. Chelsea, because Chelsea got a terrible record at Old Trafford, I don't see them winning. I will go for 2-2. Ronaldo scoring both goals.
Peter, what are you feeling?
Chelsea win 3-1 just because we are bad, but your team is also bad. And it looks like your team no longer wants to play with each other. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's
no,
weird
we have Jesse Lingard snitching to Paul Scholes, and then Paul Scholes publicly telling everybody what Jesse Lingard said.
Which is crazy by Paul Scholes, by the way.
Yeah, Paul Scholes. I cannot believe he did that.
It's crazy.
That is absurd. Crazy. That is absurd. I cannot believe. I cannot believe he did that. That is next level. Like
he came out yesterday to say, look, I've gone on to talk back to Jesse Lingard, but I'm sure he will not want me to say it this time. What he said.
I just can't believe he
It's
just
like I
added his
can't.
course
He's
like that.
just
That's too
like
funny.
he's just ridiculous. I
That was
mean,
unprofessional from him.
so
That was very
unprofessional.
unprofessional from him.
That being said, I did not know that it's been 10 years since you guys have won at Old Trafford.
Yep, 2013.
Damn,
Actually.
and thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty accurate. We've had some fun moments. I'll tell a story real quick. I'll tell a funny story real quick about me and Andy when we were living together. So this is right at the end of Mourinho's tenure at United. This is this is the Martial game when we're down 1-0. Martial scores 2 huge goals.
Yep. I remember.
And then I think it was Hazard who scores in like the 89th minute, or
No, it was Ross Barkley, I think.
it was oh my god, it was Ross. And then Mourinho and some assistant getting a fight. I'm pissed because I'm pissed because I'm pissed about the goal, and I'm pissed about the assistant, and I'm going at Andy, and Andy's like, dude, shut the fuck up. They're like, we get arguing about the whole situation, man. And I miss those times. I literally
It used to be a good rivalry,
Man, we would sit in our little apartment just like this, silent, like no words being said to each other.
10 years, this fixture has been horrible.
Yeah, no,
like it used to be the one I look forward to the most. Like growing up, it was always like, when do we go to Old Trafford?
Yeah,
like, need to win there, right? Like we haven't won at Old Trafford in 10 years. We've drawn like 5 times, it seems like. So like, yeah, it's just I don't know. It sucks. It sucks that this isn't something to look forward to more so. Yeah. It also sucks that this had to get moved to a random Thursday because of the FA Cup.
Right. I'm taking a half day. I'm taking a half day. On that note, it's like the last week of my quarter. I don't care. I'm taking a half day. Yeah, but that being said, there will be a watch along, everyone. So stay tuned for that. I will be doing a watch along on this game. So all of you who will be watching overseas, make sure to tune in to that. We're taking a little break from the channel tomorrow, but then there will be the watch along. I'll do a pre-recorded review because I have some things to attend to after the game. But guys, make sure to tune in for all the content that's coming up. In my prediction, I'm going with 3-2 Chelsea, if I'm being real about it. I think there's going to be a lot of goals. I think that they will dominate possession. And I imagine Harry Maguire is going to come back into this lineup. And that scares me. Even though, yes, granted, we did concede 3. We conceded 3 against Arsenal without him, but he's been in poor form, and I just can't imagine it getting any better with all of the injuries and drama that is surrounding this club. So
I have a bold prediction.
Bold prediction. Go for it.
Lukaku starts. That's my bold prediction. I can't tell you how that's going to go, but I think Lukaku will start this game.
Interesting.
Nothing else but for chaos purposes. And I'm down with it. At this point, if he stinks
if Lukaku was to score at Old Trafford, that would be like the icing on the cake of worst season ever. Like I didn't even think about it until just now, until Peter just brought that up. If Lukaku scores at Old Trafford and they win, I don't think you can write a book.
If Lukaku breaks an Old Trafford drought, I'll give him a second chance.
Like
I'm down. Why not? At that point, why not? Because let's be real. We have to play the league games before the cup final anyways. If Lukaku plays and something happens to him, he probably wasn't going to start the cup final anyways. So it's cool. Right? I don't want to risk Havertz Mount. So if I'm going to put Pulisic, Lukaku, and someone from the crowd out there, then I'll do that. It is what it is.
Oh my God. Well, guys, you heard it here. I'd be sick if that boot-wearing bum scores. Yeah, I would be sick. I literally thinking about that now I'm gonna be thinking about that up until that match ends. Like Lukaku score, I gotta get it out of my head.
I'm gonna blow up your phone as soon as he scores.
Yeah, I know you will. I know you will, asshole. Anyway, guys, we're rounding up another great live stream on the Wavy Baller Hub. Great conversations as always. The comments were jumping. We really appreciate that, guys. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Let your friends know about the preview. Make sure to follow Peter, follow Andy, follow NK. Their information is going to be in the description. You feel me? So, guys, make sure to support them. And as always, I will talk to you guys very, very shortly. All right. Deuces.
Peace.